It's actually wild to think about. Right now, the average college graduate enters the workforce lugging around nearly $40,000 in student loan debt. Meanwhile, their peers who decided to skip college, well, they've often already banked well over 150 grand in gross income. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking one of the absolute most hotly debated, fiercely defended decisions you can make early in life, getting a university degree versus jumping straight into the workforce. Both sides will swear up and down they made the right choice, and both will point right at their bank accounts to prove it. But what we're going to explore today is a really fascinating 15-year financial paradox that both of these groups inevitably hit. Okay, let's dive into this. Picture two different 23-year-olds for a second. On one side, we've got the guy with no degree. Now, at 23, he looks like an absolute financial genius. He's pulling in $45,000 a year from a steady paycheck, he has zero student debt, and he's got this massive, undeniable 5-year head start on adult life. On the exact opposite side, look at the university student. At 23, they are most likely totally broke, incredibly stressed out, sitting on $35,000 of compounding debt, and yeah, still stuck in a classroom cramming for finals. So if you judge the race right here, right now, it looks like a complete blowout. But as we track these two distinct paths over time, something pretty remarkable happens. By year 15, the entire graph flips. The path that looked like the smartest, absolute most bulletproof choice early on, it looks vastly different a decade later. Now, before we look at how and when that flip actually happens, we need to set the rules of this comparison so we know it's completely fair. Think of this as a highly controlled experiment. We're imagining two people living in the exact same city, coming from the exact same middle-class background. We're giving them the exact same intelligence, the same work ethic, and exactly zero starting money. The single isolated difference here is that one chooses university while the other hits the workforce right at age 18. To get to the truth, we stripped away all the opinions, ignored the internet arguments, and turned this into a pure math problem. We tracked exactly how they progressed over a 15-year period. We're talking income, debt burdens, savings, investing habits, the whole shebang. For instance, we modeled what happens when a worker starts at $45,000 with standard 3% annual raises and compared that against a graduate starting 4 years later at $60,000 but with 5% compounding raises. We factored in promotions, lifestyle inflation, and overall net worth to build a really accurate timeline of their financial realities.
Part 1. The Early Lead, years 18 to 23.
And this brilliantly illustrates how, during these first 5 years, the reality of the two paths could not be more different. On the degree path, you're looking at mounting tuition bills, roughly 10 grand a year in compounding student debt, maybe a tiny part-time income if you're really lucky, and a completely negative net worth. It is a period of just intense financial stress. But look at the no degree path. They are earning right out of the gate. They might be putting 10% down on a starter home or maxing out a Roth IRA. They're buying a car, getting their own apartment, enjoying total financial freedom, and building positive cash flow every single month. Honestly, if you freeze time right here, the truth is just hard to ignore. At this point in life, the degree looks like a terrible financial decision. The net worth graph for the worker is soaring high above, while the graduate's financial line is literally buried deep below zero, just completely weighed down by promissory notes and unpaid internships. Let's move forward and see how this actually builds across our 15-year timeline. So at age 18, the initial decision happens. At 23, the no degree path clearly hits its peak lead. But as we move into the late 20s, those early advantages begin to shift, mostly because corporate promotions begin to compound. And ultimately, this hurdles us right toward age 33, which is the exact statistical crossover moment where everything changes. Part 2. The turning point, the late 20s and early 30s. So here's exactly why this shift happens. Suddenly, higher-paying career ladders open up, and they are exclusively for the graduate. Those $50,000 entry-level jobs turn into $85,000 mid-level management roles. Graduates in their late 20s often see these massive salary bumps, like 15 to 20%, as they shift into leadership. Compare that to a steady but kind of slow 3% standard raise in a lot of non-degree roles. The specialized skills they spent years studying for finally matter a lot more to employers. And most importantly, their overall salary ceiling completely shatters. Basically, the credentials finally start to pay off. Now, what's really interesting here is how clearly the transition of power maps out across these three life stages. In the early 20s, the no-degree path undeniably dominates the board. In the late 20s, well, the gap slowly begins to close. The graduate's income spikes just enough to start aggressively paying down that debt and securing those promotions. And then by the mid-30s, the degree path absolutely dominates the financial metrics. It all leads up to this, the graph crossover moment at age 33. And why age 33? Well, mathematically, this is the exact window where the average graduate finally wipes out the very last of their student loans while simultaneously hitting their prime mid-career earnings stride. The $500 a month they were sending to loan providers is suddenly freed up for investing. The compounding interest on their newly freed up cash actually overtakes the 5-year head start of the worker. For the graduate, this single moment changes everything. It completely validates a decade of struggling, studying, and stressing over debt. Part 3. The part nobody talks about. The human cost. Up until now, we've really only been talking about spreadsheet finance, right? But to fully understand this explainer, we have to look at the heavy emotional burdens young people on both of these paths carry. Because let's be real, neither is painless. Recent data actually shows nearly 60% of young workers report feeling chronic burnout by age 25. If you choose the degree, you're dealing with immense status pressure, crushing student debt anxiety, and just that constant nagging feeling of being drastically behind in your 20s. But hey, if you choose the no-degree path, the costs are just as real. You risk early physical and mental burnout, you face lower salary ceilings, and you grapple with the genuinely terrifying feeling of being trapped in your 30s when your income stubbornly plateaus. This is a reality we just can't ignore. Money decisions don't just change your bank account. They change how you experience your entire 20s. Part 4. The real answer. You know, the internet loves to treat this debate like a religion, but the truth is, the answer entirely depends on the context of your choices. So the crucial point is that the degree mathematically wins, but only if you go into a high-income field, manage to keep your student debt low, actually finish the degree, and enter an industry that fiercely rewards credentials. On the flip side, the no-degree path completely dominates if you channel that early head start into entrepreneurship, high-commission tech sales, or the skilled trades. Think about it. If an 18-year-old tradesman takes the $500 a month they aren't spending on student loans and throws it right into an S&P 500 index fund, by age 30, compounding interest makes them incredibly wealthy, totally dodging that degree crossover. When you strip away all the emotion and the intense societal pressure, it really is just a math problem with different timelines. If you ever feel overwhelmingly behind your peers, it's absolutely vital to realize that this isn't a failure of your character or your work ethic. It is simply the reality of the mathematical timeline you selected. Time is really the ultimate judge here. At year 5, one person feels smarter, but at year 15, the other usually looks richer. The single most dangerous thing you can possibly do is make a permanent life decision based strictly on the short-term pain or the short-term gain of those first few years. You absolutely have to look at the whole timeline. So now I'm throwing this over to you. Look at your own timeline. Did you choose the degree path or the no degree path? And looking back at your own crossover moments, was it worth it financially? Think about it. If you want to run your own numbers and see exactly how these compounding trajectories work, definitely check out the sources we used for this explainer. Keep questioning the numbers, and thanks so much for joining me.